I will introduce the wonderful Miss Teri Brown of the Dixon Women's Improvement Club.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for asking that we come here. I need to be able to see your mother. She's my emotional support person, and so is Jewel and the rest of my Dixon Women's Improvement Club ladies. So when she called and said, will you do this? And I said, oh, sure, why not? I've been here since the 60s. You all know more than I do. But it was a pleasure to accept. And so here we go. A little bit about me. I'm a Navy brat. And we came to Dixon in the early 60s. And then we were so grateful when Daddy said, I'm going to retire here. I love this town. And so my dad and mom were the Ostermans. You would see Mom at the bank. You would see my dad running around town doing God's work, right? Anyhow, we loved it. We were so happy to be able to put down roots here. And 2 of my 3 children are here. Elizabeth and Tim both live in Dixon. Genevieve's in Sacramento somewhere. Okay, so the Dixon Women's Improvement Club. I have to thank also, in addition to Jewel and Diane, who helped me read 102 years of minutes. OMG. To 1943, they were all handwritten. And some of those women had beautiful handwriting, and others we needed magnifying glasses to read what we were reading. I want to thank Bill Schroeder for creating a monster. You have now got me on the maps, old maps of Dixon with a magnifying glass. I'm at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking to see, well, where were the Schulte lots? Where were all the lots? Okay, so let's see. If I don't know the answer, this table here will know the answer, and these people here will know the answer. So there are no wrong answers, and we're going to do this a little different. This is not a presentation like, well, back in 1899, whatever. This is going to be like a church revival session. Every table is going to be responsible for putting their hands up and yelling out an answer. The little buckets in your center of your table, that's where you put the little balls if you have an answer. And there's going to be multiple right answers, okay? Binky knows. And I used to be the head cheerleader at Dixon High. If I don't see you participating, I will shame you at your table, okay? All right. So the other people that I have to thank, because God loved Grace O'Neill. That woman did a fine presentation of the history of the Dixon Women's Improvement Club, and it's within the Dixon Historical Society's archives. She also, with Ardith Riedel, did voice presentations that you can access through the Dixon Library. And there were other people that if I forget to mention them, I'm so sorry, but here we go. On your table, there should be a piece of paper. Of course, I don't have it here, but I'm going to grab that, Diane. Yeah. So you all should have a piece of paper that has a list of all our past presidents that we've known that we've done over the years. 126 years this doesn't do justice to it. This is the distillation out of the 102 years of minutes, okay? There's maybe 3 or more pages that I could put. This is going to be your cheat sheet for today. So everybody should have one on the table. Who doesn't have one? Okay. All right. What year did we start? Come on. Pick me. What? Nope. 1899. Who yelled 1899 out besides Pat Enterbitson? Put a ball in your little thing there. Okay. What did we start out as? I'm giving you guys answers on this sheet. It's pretty. At the Shakespeare Club. Who said Shakespeare? Yeah, Jewel. Oh, yes. Oh, I am a remiss in letting you know that the reason why you want to participate is there's goodies. First, second, and third tables will get a prize, and then we have what I always get is the consolation prize. But that's why you want to participate, okay? So you started out, who yelled Shakespeare? There's other people that yelled Shakespeare. Okay, put a ball in your thing. Hey, and you're not going to cheat. We are in God's house here. You are going to be honest and not put all the balls in the middle of the thing, okay? All right. But did you know, everyone, that it went from the Shakespeare Club to the Dixon Study Club and then the Dixon Art Club? Then in what year did most of the members become DWIC? It's there on the paper. Okay, anybody that said 1905, put a ball in your little hopper. Just one, Bill. Only one. I'm looking at you throwing them in. Yes, Kelly. What I could get from listening, there was actually an NPR episode when I was listening in the car. I couldn't write down the information. Back then, the ladies were in love with Shakespeare. They were in love with the literature. They would love to get together and talk about his plays. There was a group of women in England that had a statue made, a bronze statue of the bard, but their names aren't on it. Only the men that got it together. But it was back then, it was for them. All these women's clubs were avenues for women to get together to learn about literature, about current events, about other things, So that's, I hope that answered your question. Yes, Frank.
If you go over toward Columbia past through Lotus, and the main building in Lotus near the fire station is the Lotus, the Literary Society building or something. So kind of, I think it was just a popular thing.
Yep. It was a way for them to get together and share and also to socialize, right? Okay. So, who was the first president of DWIC? Yeah, okay, everybody that said Mrs. Robert J. Curry, put a ball in your... I hope we have enough balls in the thing. Okay. So, I have to skip around here, guys. All right. So, the very first thing that I want to talk to you guys about and ask questions about and give you more chances to put little balls in your thing is in the distillation, I found 5 things that we have been known for and that we continue to be known for. We've done a lot of other things, but these are the 5 things that for me, and there's going to be 5 different things for all of you if you want to learn more about the club, but there were 5 things that stood out for me. So if we had the tiara for the Dixon Women's Improvement Club, the very center crown would be what? Nope. Close. Nope. Nope. It's a big white building. Thank you. Thank you. It was a library. All right? Those were all good answers. They're in here somewhere, okay? But there's a letter from Mrs. Curry, and it's showcased there. And I quote, "Appeal to you for aid to carry out our greatest ambition." A library, you guys, I can't describe to you what a library is. You can travel with a library, and you never have to leave your home. And when I first moved to Dixon, I found a home in that library. I sat amongst the books and read every book on Egyptian history that you could find. But that library was my second home. So in what year do you think that they decided that they should start looking at things to have the library? What year? No, close, Ross. It's between 1910 and 1912. There you go. Everybody that said 1911, put a ball in your thing. Okay. So they reached out to Assemblyman Harry Peterson, who had state legislative ties because he was up there, to secure passage of a state law that enabled DWIC to apply and eventually receive a grant from who? Carnegie. Yay, Carnegie. You loud ones over here, who would have known that you would be unleashing your inner child? Carnegie Library. Everybody that said Carnegie Library, put a ball in your bucket, okay? How much was the grant for? How much? Nope. Yeah, oh, Bill, you have to be quiet. You have to let others play. It was a grant for $10,000, and they didn't get it right away. They had to write, and they had to show that they could have an ample tax base, because back then, Dixon was only 800 people. You know, back in 1911, 12, it was 800 people. God, 800 people. Think about that. So you had to have a bigger base, and how they were going to have the bigger base is they were going to go to a school district. Well, they had to get that law by Peterson to get the school district to be able to have the library in that school district, okay? And we had to pony up. The Women's Improvement Club had to pony up money too. Carnegie just didn't give you the money. He wanted to see that you had the land. He wanted to see that you could pay for the expenses of the library, right? Upkeep. So before you could get the library in his check, you had to have money. How much was that? You were right the first time, Bill. $5,000 is what we had to come up with, okay? So the library was known as the Dixon Union High School District Library, a.k.a. Carnegie Library, a.k.a. Dixon Public Library, whatever. And through the grant, but here's the thing, is the library floating in air? Nah, you had to have land, okay? Now this is another one. For those of you that live in Dixon, there's a building. Now the name on the building is not the person that gave the land. It's the brother of the guy, the woman. Let's just say, there's a building next to the B of A that has a name on it. What's that name? Little louder, Binky. Schultze. Who said Schultze? Put a ball in your tub, okay? All right? It was Mrs. O.C. Schultze that gave the land, and two of her descendants are here today to correct me when I say things wrong. Okay. So, well, don't say that, Binky. They know everything. Okay, so they got the grant, they got the land, they had the money, and the city agreed to have an ongoing tax at the time for the maintenance of the library. That's how we got the library. Now, according to Danny, who's here today, he was at the Carnegie presentation in Woodland last Sunday. And according to them, they were the very first library. It's my understanding that that library in Woodland was the first one in the region for the Carnegie libraries that were being built. So I like to consider that it was the first in Yolo County. Our library was the first in Solano County. We were the first 800 people, AKA school district, but we were the first to have a library in Solano County, guys. I just think that's amazing. And there were Carnegie libraries that were built across the United States between 1889 and 1923. And today, 37 of those, of 142 California libraries are still in existence. Okay, so what year was the rededication ceremony of that library, the Carnegie Library? Now, I'm going to give you a hint. It was between 1991 and 1993. Oh, Oh my God, put another ball in that tub. There you go. Okay. Georgiana McCarthy. Who remembers Georgiana McCarthy here in town? Everybody put your hands up. She beat your knuckles at the piano if you didn't hit those right notes. And Ardith Riedel. Both of them spoke about DWIC's historical involvement. And then David Schultze, the great-grandson of Mrs. O.C. Schultze, did the dedication. So would David please stand up? Come on. And your brother Robert, no, Robert, you don't get to laugh and pretend, oh, you have to stand up too. You guys, these are the great-grandsons of Mrs. O.C. Schultze. And David gave the dedication. Thank you. Okay, so now this is another tough one. On the side of that building, you see so many marble plaques and bronze plaques and everything, but there's a special little historical plaque on that building. Do you know what number that is for the Bill? Be quiet. Don't you say a word. The list of the historical sites in Dixon. Do you know? Another hint for you guys. It's between 20 and 22. There you go. Anybody that said 21, put it in the ball in the basket. It's plaque number 21. Okay. On February 4th, 2011, our library is now listed. Where do you put something if you don't want them to tear it down? No, not in the state archives. Where do you put a building? Yes, the National Register of Historic Places. That's what you do when you hear the rumblings that somebody wants to tear something down and it is a monument to your city and you don't want it to go anywhere. Where do you go? You get it on the National Register of Historic Places. And the Dixon Carnegie Library Preservation Society is the person that in February 4th of 2011 made sure that our library is going to stand. And our DWIC member, Marta Rao Henry, was a member of that group that helped preserve that building. Okay, but we have to move back in time again. It's not just the big white building. What else is there attached to that building? There's a more contemporary building, a modern edition that's attached to, no, not the bookstore, Ross. No, it's the other part of the library. It's the newer library. And so on April 21st, and there's another hint what year, it's between 1989 and 1991. Thank you. Anybody that said 90, April 21st, 1990, the newer edition of the library was dedicated. And then in January of 2020, our library became part of the Solano County Library system. Okay. Hunting this letter down was just hard. And it was even harder to read because they had beautiful penmanship. But these are the notes. These are the minutes. Read up until 1943. Oh my Lord. Oh my God. Okay. All right. I'm moving through my papers just in case somebody asked me a particular question, probably Bill Schroeder. So I had to keep all my ducks in line. Okay. So we have the centerpiece of the tiara for the Dixon Women's Improvement Club. What's the next thing that we are noted for in this town? Thank you. Who named the park? Put a ball in. If you all answered it, you got to put a ball in your bucket. Okay. So, back in 1911 they wanted the library, and then in 1920 they thought, "Oh, let's have a park." But did you know that the park was actually thought of before the library? But the women were told that street improvements and sewage needed to be addressed first. So that's how the park came after the library. So again, several parcels of land went into making this park. Thank you, Bill Schroeder, for going blind with those maps. But the largest parcel was donated by who? Again, the name is on the building. Thank you. Schultze, Oscar C. Schultze. Mrs. Oscar C. Schultze's family decided to donate the land to the park. There was also another group of people, but that was the largest donation. I think, now, Bill, you're going to have to help me here. Clark and Little, and then had the parcels on C Street. And I think Hyatt is the strip that came behind.
Hyatt and Madden's were the same parcel. It's 25 feet wide, but Madden had it and Hyatt bought it.
But who's the person that had the parcel that is right behind the library between them and the rice lot? There was a strip that's still there to this day that the cement path goes down. He'll find it and he'll let us know. Okay. So the park bordered on C Street and Highway 113, okay? Now, according to... Are we losing power again? That's okay, I'll use my cheerleader voice. All right? So, according to Diane, her grandfather, Grandpa McKenzie, when he moved here in 1917, there was a 2-block area where there were how many saloons? Now, I'm going to give you another guess. It's between 16 and 18. 17. Oh, yeah, okay, put another ball in your bucket. There were bordellos, bars, and shacks all along the park front. Okay, that's not where you want to have your park. Okay, so that got to be cleaned up. All right, and they did enlist the help of the guys to do that. And they also had to fill up the cellars. I think there were cellars that needed to be filled up along that stretch too. Okay, the park was finished in what year? Again, we have a hint, 1924 and 26. So what was the year? 1925. Everybody put a ball inside of your bucket, okay? Now, this is the fun part. Listening to Ardith Riedel and Grace O'Neill talk about the trees, that the ladies had lots of trees to plant in the park and throughout town. A lot of the sycamores that you see in town were planted by those women. The sycamores at the fairgrounds were planted by those women. And the eucalyptus around the, quote, racetrack were planted by them. So by 1917, they had planted over, now another hint, between 69 and 71. 70 trees in 1 year. They had planted 70 trees, okay? Now, this is my favorite part of this discussion. This, my darling, is a copy of the resolution where the Dixon Women's Improvement Club turned the park over to the city of Dixon. It's resolution number 12. This is the rabbit hole I really liked going down. Because in that resolution, there were clauses giving DWIC the right to build a clubhouse if we wanted to. But there's no room for a clubhouse, we all know that. No improvements or additions can be made to that park without our approval. The Schultze family wanted to ensure that that park remained a public park, not anything else, okay? And it is a gem in our downtown, thanks to that family and the work of all the people that helped build it. It is a wonderful place to go, okay? And I want to say this part here, okay? but I just want to say it. I don't want any controversy about it. Redeeding the park back to Dewick if the club so wished. In other words, it was always going to remain a public park, okay? Now, comes to my another favorite part, because we have somebody here. All right, so we have a plaque on our sign. The sign that's there, right, is a new sign. The old sign was a wood sign. The new sign is very modern. It has metal cut letters out, and we have a plaque on it. Now, I was so excited early on because I thought it was number 1, but unfortunately, this church is number 1 on this historic side. Not my park, but again, it's going to give you a hint. It's close to what our library is by 2 digits going up. So if the library was 21, 23, that's right. Put a ball in your bucket. Now, in the corner, northwest corner of the park, established in May 11th of 2018, we have our little rose garden. It has been struggling, but it's starting to come back. And it was through the efforts that were spearheaded by our own Arlene Jones here in the corner. Arlene, will you please raise your hand? Thank you. She and her ladies got together, and we have a beautiful rose garden. And thank you. I did find the record of this resolution. It's going to be in the firebox. You guys, I have to take a sip of my drink because my breathing's been really bad. So, I just have to show you this. Now, you can't see it, but I just want to show you this. This is magnified like 5,000%. Thank you, Diane, because the one I got from Bill was itty-bitty, itty-bitty. I couldn't see anything, and I thought, where are all the names? Okay, so we have the library, and we have the park. What do you think is the next prong in the tiara? And it's more modern. I think you said it. Scholarships. Who said scholarships? Okay, Kelly, you get to put a ball in the thing. Okay. So, it's relatively new compared to the historic efforts for the ladies back in 1900s, okay? So, we'll get another hint. 1970 was the year that the first scholarship was given out. So how long has we been giving out scholarships? 55 years. Okay, who said 55 years? Because you put another ball in the tank, okay? That they decided that they were going to give out scholarships to Dixon High School and Main Prairie. And the original committee was Lorraine Elf, Grace O'Neill, Faye Dawson. Now, this is one you should all know. An elementary school here in town is named after her. Gretchen Higgins. Put a little feather in your caps, guys, and put a ball in the center of your table. And Olive Wiggins. So the first scholarship that was given out in 1970 came from the interest on a CD we had. And it was for, guess how much money? Now, I want you guys, this is really important to remember the money figures because I have to come back to this in a few minutes, okay? It was for, it's between $199 and $201. $200. The very first scholarship was for $200. Put that ball in the middle of the table there. Thank you, Mary Heaney. I saw you put that ball in there. Okay, so the funding for the scholarships, okay, came from the sale of the cookbooks. Will you pull one of those cookbooks out? Yeah. From the cookbooks, fundraising dinners, where members have bought tickets, as well as their friends and family, and then the general public of Dixon, the citizens of Dixon, and outlying areas too. Public donations and donations from individual DWIC members. We've had a couple members when money has been really tight that they have come forth with money, and we've been able to give scholarships out. Okay, present day, 2025. Guess how much we gave out? No. Okay, you have to be quiet, Cindy Heaney. You cannot say a word because she's our treasurer. No. We're going to do a little hint. Between 5 and 7,000. $6,000, you guys. We gave out 1,000 and 2,500. So between 1970 and 2025, 97 scholarships totaling. Now here's another one for you. It's between 74,000 and 76,000. $75,000 has been given out. I want you to remember that amount, okay? Because it's real important. So has anyone here today been a recipient of a DWIC scholarship? No. But has anyone here known somebody that got a DWIC scholarship? Okay, so right here is Miss Julie Mustard. Julie, who got a scholarship? Daughter Libby. Kim? Oh, okay. Anybody else here? No. And the grandma? Ashley? Okay. Say it.
The high school science teacher, Samantha Bleasdale.
Okay, so there's been a lot of kids that have been blessed with the hard work of the ladies from this club. And I can't tell you how proud I am to stand up here and acknowledge that. Okay, going through Diane's excellent records of the scholarships. It's 3 pages. Okay, what's the next crowning little prong? Now, my family knows it. You have to keep quiet because they know that they don't see me for 2 months at a time. So what do you think that we are known for besides scholarships? Community grants, that's right. But that too, Bill, that too. Community grants. The community grants started out in 2017 as grants. But I don't want to, you guys, the women have given money over the 126 years, not as grants, but just given out $100, given out $200, given out money, okay? But the grants started out in 2017, and they evolved into the community grants in 2020. So where do you think the majority of the funding comes for the community grants? Now, for those of you that have attended our dinners, our fundraising dinners, it should be easy for you. There is a row of things against a wall. Raffle, that's right. A raffle basket or a raffle prize, and most recently, our silent auction. Those things, as well as the public support, donations from individual members and individual people, that's what brings in the money for the community grants, okay? And during 2020, when we had COVID, we were still doing our fundraising dinner in the Bud's parking lot as a takeout dinner. We didn't have raffle baskets, but we came up with $1,500 during that period of time to give away. But in that short period of time, 8 years, okay, how many grants do you think we've given out? Again, the hint is between 44 and 46. 45 grants totaling, it's between 23,000 and 25,000. 24,000. That's right. So, is anybody here been a recipient of a community grant? Somebody in the historical society should be dancing on the tables. Yeah, yeah. And does anybody here know an organization or individual that's received a Dixon community grant? All my Dixon DWIC ladies better be putting their hands up, because, yeah, and Julie Mustard, who do you know that got one of our favorite groups?
Team Dixon.
Team Dixon, right. We sponsor them usually almost every year because they use the money so that their families can go to the pool. And Jewel, yes? Oh, that's right, Cookie Powell. Cookie, where is that Cookie? I'm going to tell her, why aren't you here? Anyhow, so that is the fourth prong, the final one, the final prong, guys. You guys probably don't know much about this. It's kind of new. We're trying to get more knowledge about it, but we've been working on it since 2018. So then President Lauren Hoffman and Vice President Jewel Fink then, and she's my vice president now, began working on getting funding for a $5,000 grant from the city of Dixon. And Lauren, in her infinite wisdom, we weren't a nonprofit, you guys, until July of 2019. We were just giving out money and just doing stuff. But we became a nonprofit, which is pretty important to get certain grants now. You have to be a nonprofit. So she submitted the application, and Jewel and her went down to see the city staff. And we were going to have a community resource guide that was going to be in a booklet form, but then we realized a booklet form, that is going to eat up the $5,000. So instead, we have a community resource guide that is online, and it went public in 2022. And all you have to do is type in Dixon Community Resource Guide, and it's in flip book format, okay? So you get to see all the things that you possibly might want to know about in Dixon. And that was the newest crowning jewel that I found for my group. Now, I have to go back because this is the end. We're on the tail end, guys. Don't fall asleep on me. All right. Our first meeting was in what building? Carnegie Library. There you go. In the basement. I've been in that basement. And that basement is teeny tiny wee. So there is a room off to the right-hand side that I'm sure that's where they served what I'm going to talk to you about soon. And the left side was a children's room. It still has the children's wallpaper. God love them. Down in the basement. Okay. Y'all know Roy and Pam Gill? Okay, Florence Gill was 100 years old and was recognized for her many years with DWIC. Let's give you a hint. It was between 60 and 62. 61 years with DWIC. Ah, man. Yeah. And then right behind her, 10 years later, Lillian Bulkley and Dorothy Berry lost out to her by 1 year. So how many years were they with DWIC? 60. You guys that are saying 60, put that ball in their thing because you're going to be eligible for one of these lovely prizes up here. Okay. So how much do you think the dues were in 1933 for a year? $1 big dollar. $1. So then we moved to 2025, and our dues to cover expenses are how much? Oh, God love you, Kelly. You have to serve the cake today, okay? No, it's $40, okay? $40. Not for the week, not for the month, for the year, people. Now, I want you to remember that. $40 for the year. Now, these women work hard for the scholarships and the community grants, okay? How much money? We brought in a lot of money, but it's through their efforts that it happens, not because we have a largesse of money hanging around, okay? I'm going to be shameless. People should be leaving us their money. Hello. Am I not supposed to say that? Oh, okay. All right. So in 1922, we had 51 members. In 24, we had 89 members. But this year, between the time that Jewel and I joined in 2018, we've lost a lot of members. We've lost between around 12 or 14 members, a lot of people. So we're actively recruiting. And I couldn't find my notes, but I know it's here, that way back when, either in the 30s or 40s, we voted as a club to meet on the third Wednesday of the month. And we're still doing that today. It's amazing. We meet from September through May. Now, I also want to tell you that we have had 9 DWIC members selected as the Citizen of the Year for this town. We had Ardith Riedel and Muriel Sievers in 78, Betty Siegfried in 80, my Pat Granucci in 86, Barbara Beckworth in 89, Irene Crawford in 95, Jill Orr in 2008, Kay Kaler, my raffle queen with the tickets, she works wonders, in 2011, and Deborah Dingman in 2023. Now, guys, don't be upset when I say this, but behind every great guy, there's a great woman, okay? So, I wanted to have this in here. 6 husbands of those different DWIC members were selected as Citizens of the Year. In 1965, we had Ron Duprat. He had Fabulous Jackie. I miss her deeply. 1966 was Roy Elf, Lorraine Elf. 1971, Ross Hanna, my boy's grandma, great-grandma, Gladys Hanna. 1983, Wes O'Neill, Grace. 2002, Jack Batchelor, Mary Lou. And 2015, Bert Galke, our Arlene. 1 DWIC member was selected as Veteran of the Year in 2019. Who do you think that was, girls, from our group? Now think about it. Kitty Lockwood. Man, nobody messes with Kitty Lockwood. Nobody that knows Kitty, you don't mess with Kitty. Okay. Our aquatic center in town is named after our DWIC member, Pat Granucci. She taught my children to swim, and forever love her for that. Tim was a good swimmer, but Elizabeth was the social one. She would just take a few strokes and wave. Hi, everyone. Okay. In 2025, DWIC was nominated for Nonprofit of the Year. I am so proud of my club. And, yes, Jewel? Oh, that's right. And so was Kelly and Kim. Kelly, we love you, Kelly, but Kim's DWIC, okay? And so was Jewel. So they were nominated for Citizens of the Year. How could I have forgotten that? And we went through this. How come you didn't tell me? In the dry run. Oh, there you, no. Okay, so I would like to acknowledge all my DWIC ladies. Please stand. Can you get up? Pat her a bit so you can sit. Come on, everybody else, stand up. All right. Thank you, ladies. Okay, now this comes to the fun part. I still have a few minutes, real quick. I have 5 minutes. I did this in what, 25? Okay, that's because I digressed. Yeah. My family knows I digress. Okay, so, no, I don't want to talk for 30 minutes. I want cake. I came here for the cake, you guys, not for this. Okay, so I want to know if anybody has a favorite DeWick story. Does anybody here have a DeWick story? I know that I got into DeWick through Gladys Hanna was my first mother-in-law. I had a couple. But she was door number 1. And Gladys dripped on me for the longest time. She dripped on me from 1972. I don't even know if she was a member then. I just made it up, okay? But she dripped on me. And finally I said yes, just to shut her up. I came to the first meeting and I fell in love with this club. And I forgot to tell you, back then, Kelly was talking about the Shakespeare Club. Back then, the ladies had a literacy club and a household arts club and a civics club, an attainment club, an art club, a music club, history and landmarks, and current events. This was in 1919, okay? So in getting back to that spirit, what a lot of the members don't know that are sitting here right now, the directory is going, for next year, is going to include, you know, our normal excursions and our presentations where we bring people in. But we're going to have a bookworm club, and we're going to have a lunch a bunch club, and we're going to have, what's the Bunko one called? Bunko Busters. And we're going to have a wine club. And what else? I'm missing one other. There's, huh? Oh, that's, how did you, thank you, Pat Interbitson, a movies club. And I just thought it's going to get back to having things outside of our normal meeting for those that want to come. And with that, I thank you. Yeah, hey, any DeWick stories? DeWick stories.
You've got a lot of questions. I'm going for you. What year was the library used as the meeting room for classrooms in Dixon schools?
I don't know that. The question was, what years were the library used for classroom schools? And you are going to answer that.
1952 and 1953.
There you go. You heard it from the expert. In the basement. Oh, God, in that basement. Ooh.
Why was the basement built?
Because that's what Carnegie wanted you to have.
No, that's what the men wanted for their smoking room.
No, actually, Carnegie wanted it to be built over a basement. Basements, yeah.
But the men wanted it for a cool place to go smoke their cigar.
They wanted their Pugar room. Oof. Okay, who else?
Something that's important to my family in the park is honoring the veterans. Yes. Do we have something to do with that? Because my uncle's name is on that plaque.
I don't know if we were instrumental in having it, but it's on the park property. And just so you know, we had a little snafu recently, but there's not supposed to be anything put into that park that's permanent without approval from the club. And if it is, then it's going to get, I don't know. No. There's certain things that were in the works that we worked on to get it okay. But you can't go start things on your own and put them up in the park just because you think it's a good idea.
What, for the dollar membership fee? For the dollar membership fee, when did that start?
That was back in, no, actually it was a dollar fee before that. And then there were also, the members were also paid to be on the board.
I've got a little trivia.
Okay.
Okay, so
Trivia.
since let's just pick 1910. They were paying $1 in 1910. What do you think that's worth today? $34.01. So you're pretty close. You know, it's a little more expensive to join the club now than it was back in 1910. So not much, though.
And you guys, here's one other thing I wanted to say because it's important. The streets had to be paved on C Street and the Highway 113. And the women worked for many years to help pay for that paving by selling 25-cent lunches to the men's clubs in the basement. They would cook the food, they'd bring it in, because there's no cooking facilities down there that I saw. And they would, that's how they paid to pave C Street and the area in front of the park. Amazing, amazing. Who else has a story? Who wants cake? Yay! Bill, you get one more story, and then we're going for cake.
Emma Jane Tim, the Henry R. Tim's wife, and Olin Tim, as most of you know, Olin's
Yes.
son, he was a son. Well, Olin wrote a letter. And
Yes, I have the letter.
You have the letter? Where
Yes.
the trees were hanging too low,
Oh,
and
yes.
the boys would climb in the trees and then jump down on the women, the girls,
Yes.
and scare them.
Yes.
So Emma Jane wanted the trees trimmed, and she got her way.
She did. When one of the members of the DWIC members, their husbands became mayor, the tree was trimmed so that there couldn't be any altercations like that in the future. But Mrs. Tim was also involved in the design of the park. So it was her and a couple other ladies. I want cake, guys. I'm sorry. Can we go now?